Hi everybody, what a glorious day. It is nice and cool-ish here in the Glen Karoo. Slightly overcast, so slightly humid, but compared to other days, it is absolute bliss. Goodness, did Brazil put together a show for Earthshot? Yo, I have not watched the video yet, but I've seen about 100 or more photographs of before, during and after. And with entertainers like Kylie Minogue and Shawn Mendes and a number of other celebrities attending, it appears that the annual Earthshot Prize award is 100% growing in prestige. And you know what? That makes me incredibly happy. Almost proof that good can triumph over evil. I'm actually smiling so hard that my face is cracking because our media here has William everywhere. William and Earthshot wherever you look. Magazines, newspapers, etc. And so far, and I am making these notes somewhere between 11 and 12 noon, but so far not a word or a tiny picture of the goings on in Canada. Of course, the monster wife has put something out, but we'll talk about that next week. Not important. Anyway, so William returned to Earthshot in his favorite velvet jacket, which appears to have become a staple for the Earthshot Awards. Also attending were Keir Starmer, who is also on his way to COP30, and Jason Knopf, who is currently the CEO of Earthshot. And quite honestly, when I look at the professionalism and the respect that Earthshot is gaining, then I understand why William trusts Jason so much. He's really doing a splendid job. Even the award presenters are big names, like F1 champion Sebastian Vettel, Olympic gymnast Rebecca Andrade, and football star Kofu. I'm not a global warming and climate change enthusiast. Those who've known me for a long time will know that. I'm one of those who think and feel that it is rather a load of hogwash and scaremongering. But I am a huge conservation fan. Huge. So although William is still on about climate change and the like, the projects and so on of the awards are very much aimed at conservation. Now, this year's winners in their categories are To Protect and Restore Nature, Green from Brazil, Clean Our Air, the City of Bogota, Colombia, Revive Our Oceans, the High Seas Treaty, Build a Waste-Free World, Lagos Fashion Week, Nigeria, and Fix Our Climate Friendship, Bangladesh. William will be off to COP30 in Belém, Brazil today. Well, actually, I've seen a photograph. He's there already. So, okay, guys, and now let's go for a big eye roll. I'll count to 3, and then we all give a big eye roll, okay? 1, 2, 3. Eye roll. Well, now that you've done that, let me tell you what it was for. Dearest King Charles has released and is selling a lithograph copy of one of his watercolor paintings at a whopping $3,882 at Highgrove. The painting is titled Highgrove House, a View from the Wildflower Meadow. I'm very sorry to inform the King that $3,882 is way too much for a copy, even a limited copy of a watercolor, and even if signed by the King. It is not an original, it's not the only one out there. and will be one of but, say, 50 or 100 other copies. No, thank you, Your Majesty. Even if I had the money, I would rather use it to support an upcoming young artist. Goodness, but the royal books are coming out faster than I go through toilet paper lately. Just off the top of my head, there was The Rise and Fall of the House of York by Andrew Lowney on August the 14th, 2025, obviously. Power and the Palace, The Inside Story of the Monarchy and 10 Downing Street by Valentine Lowe, which came out in September. The Royal Insider, My Life with the Queen, the King and Princess Diana by Paul Burrell, which also came out on the 11th of September. Sophie, Saving the Royal Family by Sean Smith. I'm not sure which month it was released, but it was released this year. And then there's also The Windsor Legacy, A Royal Dynasty of Secret, Scandal and Survival by Robert Jobson. And The Royal Butler by Grant Herold, also released in August. And then there's also a number of historical titles released in the second half of this year. I'm not going to go into those, but there are about 5 of them. To my shame, I've not read any of these books mentioned yet, but unfortunately, due to the rand-dollar exchange and certain import duties, costs, and the demise of the South African Post Office, which now necessitates courier delivery, these books are now almost unaffordable here in South Africa. Just a couple of examples. Paul Burrell's book is 601 rand, and Grant Harold's book is 764 rand if I order through Amazon. Now, say I order Grant's book at 764 rand, it would cost me a very nice, say, 1,000 rand or more by the time I've paid import duty and delivery. But that is not what I'm on about. Although it is ridiculous that books now cost that much here in South Africa, it is like they want us to stay ignorant or stupid. I had a look at one of Dragon Man's school handbooks the other day, and it was ancient and completely outdated. I can't remember what it was that drew my attention in the book and why I actually went and looked, but I was absolutely shocked. One of his other books looked a little worse for wear, and his mother had to glue it together 2 or 3 times this year already, and that one dated back to 2017. And unfortunately, it is likely, due to the cost of books, that they try and work from the same books for as long as possible. Although, having said that, I must also add that Dragon Man's school fees for the year went up in 2025 to 22,000 rand plus change for the year. I really don't know what to say to you guys. Honestly, I do not have words. I just carry on working and carry on paying. But anyway, back to the royal books. I know these authors have been doing work on the royals for a while, and I know that Grant Harold and Paul Burrell had not worked for the royals for a good couple of years. But sometimes I wonder just how many versions of the same story there could possibly be. I'm likely to say 101 versions, and still we are not anywhere near the truth. Now, how sad is that? There was something Andrew Lowney said the other day which bothered me, and I actually had to re-listen to it. he said, and I'm just giving you my own version, but he did repeat it a couple of times, so, after re-listening to it once or twice, I actually caught the drift. So basically what he said was that he included a few rumors in his book to see what comes out from it. So in other words, part of Andrew Lowney's book is nothing more than a fishing expedition and not fact. Yet he talks about these things on each and every channel which invites him, and 99.999% of the people take what he is saying as fact. Now, I don't know, guys. I sometimes feel that a lot of these books are nothing more than opportunism, making money out of other people's misery. Yet I still read them, just like you, except this year, of course. But I'm just going to be patient for a while. In a couple of months, when those books stay on the shelves at our local bookstores, B&A, C&A, or Exclusive Books, because no one can afford to buy them, then they will discount them. Or by miracle, one will find one at a second-hand bookstore. Or, if all else fails, there's always the kid in Canada. Anyway, guys, we are still on Boycott the Snarkles. So everything coming out in between is being put on the back burner. I make meticulous notes, but I'm not going to talk about it until at least the weekend. Then we'll go right ahead and blast away, okay? There are many questions and a lot to say, and you know me, I'll just carry on calmly for a while, and then one day I get a bee in my bonnet, and then it's all hands on deck. So I promise you, Sunday or Monday's talk will be explosive, to say the least. But I'll be back with more stories tomorrow, so until then, please take good care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye.